All right, welcome everyone to our webinar on citation management tools, Zotero and Mendeley. My name is Jennifer Rempel, and I'm the Information Literacy and Resource Access Librarian here at AU Library.
Hi everyone, I'm Joanna Namath, and I'm the Instruction and Reference Librarian.
Okay, so here's what we'll cover during this session. First, we're going to show you where to find our brand new citation management guide for Mendeley and Zotero, as well as where you'll find a recording of this webinar later in the week. Then we'll take a look at Zotero and how you can use it to import citations, create bibliographies, and to collaborate. We'll go on to discuss these same functions in Mendeley. And as I mentioned earlier, we will have time at the end of the presentation for any questions you may have, but do feel free to type your questions into the chat box during the presentation as well, and we'll answer them as they come up too. So again, as I'm speaking or Joanna speaking, one of us will be monitoring the chat box too. So as I mentioned earlier, we'll be covering quite a bit of material during the session, but it is being recorded. So later on, you can visit that guide and our library webinars page on the homepage of the library to view it again later. All right, so before we get into it, I do just want to get a feel for how much you know about citation management tools. So we do have a couple of polls for you to fill in again. These are a bit different. So we're just wondering if you've used a citation management software before, and if so, which one? And also, how do you normally, keep track of and cite your sources? You know, it looks like some of you are graduate students, some of you are undergraduates. So there's different ways to do that if you don't use a citation management software. So we just have a couple of polls up there, and they're just short answers, so you can just type in your responses. And again, these are totally anonymous. So I'll give you about a minute to fill in these.
And I know we always have students who have a document, but they don't know who the author is, and they're planning to cite it, and they're like, I don't have any information. So that's where it seems like a lot of people run into the difficulty.
Yes. Oh, and we actually do offer a webinar on keeping organized as you search, where we talk a little bit about citing your sources and keeping things organized. I don't know when we're doing that one again, but at some point we will. So keep in tune. Okay, so it looks like, yeah.
In January.
Yes, I think you're right. We probably are. Thanks, Joanna. Okay, so good answers coming in. Appreciate those. Thank you. Looks like some of you have Zotero, Mendeley, a couple of ref works. Yeah, some people using Zotero. Good. So hopefully this is useful for you. Okay, so I think I'll go ahead and close those. Thank you all for your answers. Okay, so we do, first of all, so we do have a new citation management guide on our website. So you can find this from the library homepage under Get Help and then Citing Tutorials. So you can see that right there. And that link will just take you right to that guide. And we'll get into this a bit more later on, but I will explain a bit more how it works. So once you're in, so I'll just go back and reiterate here. So you go to Get Help and then click on Citing Tutorials. And you'll see a list here of all of our guides. And the new one, our citation management tool, Mendeley and Zotero guide is there. So you scroll down until you see it. And this is what it looks like. So it's a pretty basic guide with information about these tools and where to download them. So it's kind of what it looks like, and you can see it later on too. You can also, under webinar there, you can see that we also have a link to the recording of our last session on this topic as well. And we are going to put this new recording up on this same space as well. And Joanna has posted the link in the chat box. Okay, so we also post a recording of this on our library webinars page. And Joanna will now go on to tell you about Zotero.
All right, thanks, Jen. So we're going to start with another poll question for you. So the question is, have any of you used Zotero before? And I'm just opening that up. And it seemed like the last poll Jen did, it seemed like more people had used Zotero and no one listed Mendeley. So it's interesting and good to know. We're going to go through both, so we'll start with Zotero and then go on to Mendeley. Okay, I'm just giving it another couple of seconds in case anyone else wants to vote, but it looks like most people have. Okay, and it's a lot of no's, so it's good that you're here. You can get an idea of what you can do and how to do it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hide this and we'll continue on. So, what is Zotero? Zotero is a citation management tool that allows you to capture citation information for resources such as journal articles, books, and websites. It works by organizing your references into collections which you can sort, search, and annotate. Zotero allows you to create bibliographies for your assignments in almost any citation format you may need, including APA, MLA, Chicago, and more. You can also use it to collaborate with colleagues, search articles and other items, and create a professional profile. Zotero can be downloaded for free from www.zotero.org. Jen will paste the link into the chat box. Depending on your device, browser, and preferences, there are a couple of installation options. Zotero is most useful when you use both the standalone app and the web browser extension. You have to download the Zotero standalone app, in this case Zotero 5.0 for Windows, before you can download the browser extension. The browser extension does not work without it. The Zotero connector is an add-on that you can install onto your browser. It can be installed on Firefox, Chrome, and Opera. Please note that Safari is incompatible with Zotero currently. Mac users can still use Chrome or Firefox with Zotero. And we'll demonstrate Zotero 5.0 for Windows and Zotero's Firefox connector. If you want to synchronize your work across more than one device, or be able to access your Zotero account on the web, you need to create an account. To do so, click Login. You can see it on the top right there. Then register on the Zotero homepage and fill in the required fields. Once both the Zotero app and the browser plugin are installed, you will see a Zotero icon that looks like a piece of paper on your web browser. Here's what your online account will look like once you have imported some citations. For this presentation, we'll demonstrate using the Zotero desktop app, as it's easier to use to import citations. It looks a lot like your library on your web account. So getting started is easy. The first thing you will want to do is create collections. You should create a different collection for each assignment or paper that you're doing research for. To create a collection, click on the button that looks like a folder with a green button with a white plus sign on it. Give your folder a name that indicates the assignment for which you're collecting resources, for example, Chem assignment or Shakespeare essay. When you begin importing references, you can move them into the appropriate folder. So we've got Shakespeare essay here and then various Shakespeare essay citations. I'll show you a few examples of how to import references. Here's how to import a journal article citation from a database. This example is from the database ProQuest Arts. Once you have found an article that you want to import from a database, click on the title and go to the full record. Click on the Export button. This will be located in different places depending on the database, but most journal databases have an export function. And here, go to All Options. Select the appropriate format. In this case, it's RIS. That is usually the format for Zotero and also for Mendeley, which we'll get to later, if Zotero is not listed by name. Then click Continue in the next box. A new window will open and a message will appear letting you know that the file is downloading. Once the download is complete, a pop-up window will appear asking you where you would like to open the file. Click the radio button next to Open With and then browse. Select Zotero, then OK. The item will appear in your Zotero library. So you can drag and drop this item into the appropriate folder once it is imported. So we're going to put it back into the Shakespeare folder. Hovering your cursor over the item in your collection and right-clicking on your mouse, then clicking View Online, will take you back to the item record in the database where you found it. Zotero does not automatically save article PDFs to your web or desktop libraries, but you can save PDFs on your computer or device and link them to your citation in Zotero. To do so, click on the item in Zotero, then click on the paperclip icon on the above toolbar, click on Attach Link to File, find the article PDF on your computer or device, then click Open. Once you've attached a PDF to your citation, when you double-click on the item in your collection, it will open the PDF on your desktop. So that's a really good idea if you've already downloaded the article and you know you're going to use it, because every now and then, even if it's linking to an old database link, the database links might age, etc. So even though we have permalinks and whatnot, it's always good to have the article if possible. So now I'll show you how to import a web page into Zotero. Please note that your standalone Zotero app must be open in your desktop in order to import citations from the web. If you have found a web page that you plan to use for your assignment, you will have to include it on your reference list or bibliography as well. For example, in my essay, I have cited the page Shakespeare's Theatre from the Folger Shakespeare Library website. To import this page into my Zotero account, I simply click on the icon that looks like a piece of paper located on the right of my browser toolbar. In the pop-up box that will appear, I can click on the down arrow next to Saving To. This will open up a box in which I can select the folder to save my web page citation to. So we're going to do the Shakespeare essay folder again. If you hover over the item in your collection and right-click, you will see the snapshot option. Each time you save a web page to Zotero, it takes a screen capture and saves it. This is useful if you plan to cite the website in your assignment, because websites often change and the snapshot captures what the website looked like at the time you cited it. You can also import citations for books and ebooks from AU's library catalog. If you do a Discover search on the library's homepage for the item you want to cite, open the full record by clicking on the item's title. Click Export. Select the appropriate format, which is Zotero or RIS, and click on Save. So you can see Zotero is listed here, but it also is a RIS format. If you've installed the Zotero connector, a pop-up will appear asking to confirm the export. Click OK. The citation will be imported to your library. Now, if the book you're citing isn't in the library catalog, for instance, maybe you have the book at home or you borrowed it from someone, you can import the citation from Amazon.com if it's available there. This is not supporting Amazon, it's just using all of their information. So you can find the book you will want to cite and click on the book icon on the browser toolbar, the same way you would click on the piece of paper icon if you were citing a website. This will save the book citation information to your library and collection in Zotero. You can do a number of things with your imported references. Click on one of the items and you can see the item details come up in the right-hand side pane. You can add or edit these details if necessary, so if you notice any typos. You can also attach your notes to the item by clicking on Notes and Add. To return to the article or website, copy and paste the URL in your address bar or double-click on the item in your collection. If you right-click on the item, you can also see the options as well as the option to move the item to the trash if you no longer need it. I'll move on to creating bibliographies in a moment, but I just want to point out that you can see that there is a way to see duplicate items on the left. You can delete these if you choose by moving the item to the trash and then emptying the trash. You can right-click on trash and click empty. To delete items permanently, right-click on trash and click empty trash. Creating a bibliography or reference list is easy. Just right-click on the appropriate assignment folder, then select Create Bibliography from your collection. Make sure that all of the items that you want to include in your bibliography are in this folder, and select the appropriate citation style. In this example, I'll use APA. I'll also select Save as RTF, as this will save the bibliography as a Word document. In the pop-up window, select the appropriate citation style. In this example, I'll use an APA 7th edition. I'll also select Save as RTF, as this will save the bibliography as a Word document. The Word document will automatically be given the same name as your collection, and you can change this if you like. Make sure you save it to a spot on your computer or device where you can easily find them again. And we'll get into more of that in our Keeping Organized webinar if you're interested. That will be later in a few months. So this is the exported file opened in Word, and you can see that it saved us a lot of work. But if you look closer, there are some problems with this bibliography. These are the first 3 citations, and we can see a lot of errors. So here's a little quiz for you, for any of you APA aficionados. Can you spot any errors in this APA style journal article citation that we imported? Please note that this is APA 7, and you can just type any of the flaws you see in this into the poll. And if you don't know APA, that's totally fine, but a lot of people tend to use it. It seems to be our most popular one among students, or most required. Okay, good job. So several people have said the title is capitalized. Each word is capitalized, which is definitely not correct. Someone else has said that the capitalization is not needed in the journal article. And someone else pointed out that it's only 1 page is listed, which is probably incorrect. I'm just going to make this a bit shorter because I want to be able to see the citation. Yes, and the title case. Yes, so good job, everyone. We broadcasted the results so you can see what answers people have come up with so far, and I'll show you what we found, but just kind of a good example of why you should always check pre-made citations. So let's take a look. The capitalization in the article title is incorrectly formatted, as you pointed out. The semicolon is missing from the title. You would only know that if you looked at it, at the actual article. The second page number is missing, which you also pointed out, so good job. And the database in which I found this article is included at the end of the citation. This is what the correct APA 7th edition citation should look like. Only proper nouns, the first word of the title and the first word after the semicolon are capitalized in the title. I went back to the PDF to find the correct pagination, so it is about 20 pages long. And I deleted the name of the database, as correct APA style requires a DOI instead. Here's the DOI format in APA 7th edition should look like. So not all journal articles will have a DOI. This is a common question we get. So only include 1 if you can. If you can't find the DOI on the article's PDF or in the citation information in the database where you found the article, check crossref.org, and Jen will post that link in the chat box. Thank you, Jen. So click on Search Metadata and type in the title of the article you're looking for. Put the title within quotation marks so that all the words are searched together next to each other. This article does have a DOI, so I can copy and paste it into my citation. If you can't find the article you need in Crossref, it probably doesn't need a DOI. Probably doesn't have a DOI or need it for your citation. So not all journal articles will have a DOI. Yes. But back to Zotero and citations. You can fix incorrect citation information in Zotero so that it will be correct when you create your bibliography. Right-click on the item you wish to edit. You can click on any piece of information listed in the right-hand pane to change it. I've gone in and fixed the capitalization on the title, added the second page number and the DOI, and next time I create an APA style bibliography, this entry will be correctly formatted. Remember, any bibliography created with Zotero should be checked carefully before your paper is submitted. Always proofread your Zotero bibliographies before you hand in your assignment. You can also install a Zotero plugin in Word to add in-text citations to your document. This is a new feature Zotero has recently released that works with the latest version of Microsoft and the latest Zotero update. I'm showing you how this works with Firefox. Chrome is very similar. So to install, first make sure your Word program is not running. In your Zotero desktop account, go to Tools and Add-ons. In the extensions list, select Enable. Next to Zotero, Word for Windows integration, close, and then reopen your Zotero desktop account. When you open Word, you will see that a Zotero option has been added to your toolbar. To add in-text citations, place your cursor next to the place where you want to add your citation and open the Zotero toolbar and click on the Add/Edit Citation. A narrow bar will pop up. Click on the arrow to open a drop-down menu. Select Classic View. This will open your Zotero desktop library so that you can select the item that you would like to cite. Select the item and then click OK. The citation will be added to your document. Again, I want to stress that you need to proofread and to double check that it is the correct citation with the correct author and year. Also, note that you sometimes need to include page numbers in your in-text citations. You will need to add the page numbers manually using the Zotero feature. And Jen is now going to talk to us about collaborating in Zotero.
Thank you, Joanna. Yeah, that's a good introduction to the basics of how Zotero works. So you can use Zotero to collaborate with others, maybe colleagues or fellow students. So to create a shared Zotero library, you do first need to create a group or groups in which to do this. So Joanna has been showing you the desktop app for Zotero. I'm going to show you the web library, just because it's way easier to collaborate using the web library than it is on your desktop library. So again, Mendeley is very similar. You have a web app and a desktop app, and they sync together, but do be aware that for collaboration, you want to use your web library. They look pretty similar, but you can see there's some differences here in what they look like. So first of all, in your Zotero web library, click on the Groups tab at the top left there, and then click on Create New Group. So you do want to give your group a name that describes its purpose. In this case, Joanna and I are collaborating on library research for digital literacy. So we're going to call our group by that. It's very descriptive. Next, you want to select the level of privacy that you want your group to have. So just to go over these, they're kind of self-explanatory, really. But a public open membership group is one that anybody in Zotero can view online and can join. So this is the least private option, so anybody can kind of sneak in there, so do be aware of that. The public closed membership is a group that anybody can view online through Zotero, but members, if they want to join, have to apply or be invited in order to join it. So it's kind of semi-private. And finally, the private membership group cannot be viewed online by others, and members must be invited to join it. So I'm going to demonstrate using a private membership group. That's probably the one you're going to most likely want to use if you're working on assignments and projects. Okay, so when you've selected your privacy level, click on Create Group. You then will be asked if the settings are appropriate. So you can look through here. There's group type, is it, who can see it, who can edit, any kind of thing like that. So you want to make sure those settings are appropriate and then click Save Settings. Again, a lot of this is fairly self-explanatory. I find Zotero is fairly easy to use. So, all right. And so now your group will be visible under the Groups tab in your Zotero account. To see more group options, you can click on Manage Profile within the group. And there are things you can do here. So, for example, you can add a description of the group if you want to. And if you choose to, you can also select your area of research, study, or interest. It's just kind of optional, but it's just useful to have that information there if you like. And again, you can always change your group's privacy level later on if you choose. So if you're working on like a public bibliography for a course you're teaching, or for your colleagues or your coworkers or classmates to look at, you can change it to private or to public or open, whichever you choose. Okay, and again, once you've made your changes in your group, click on Save Settings. So once your group has been set up, you can begin inviting members to join. So to do this, you can click on Manage Members and click on Send More Invitations. What you want to do here is you can type in the Zotero username or the email address of the person you would like to invite to the group. So in this case, I have Joanna's Zotero name. It's just her name, Joanna Name It. So I type that in and then I click on Invite Members. Okay, so the invitation has been sent. And so here you can see in the members list who you have invited to the group and when. If you like, you can also cancel the invitation. So say somebody decides, I don't want to do this, I'm not in this group anymore, cancel it, you can go ahead and do that. So a couple of options there. Once your invitees have accepted your invitation, they will be added to the list of current members. From here, you can also manage your group members' status or remove them from the group should you choose to. So please note that only group members with admin status, you can see there's a couple of admin, member, remove. Only group members with admin status can actually add articles to your group, can share articles. So do be aware of that. If you're all working on the same project, you might just make them admins instead of members. You can also send messages to your group members, one or more of them if you like, by clicking on their name in the list and then clicking on Send Message. So just to reiterate here, I've clicked on Joanna's name and then now I have the option to send her a message. So you can type your message in the box and then click Post. And then you can see your inbox on the top right. This is where you can go to view your messages and your replies. And then now to use your group to share documents, you want to click on Group Library. So this opens up your group's collaborative library where you can start sharing your citations. And this is where you import items you want to share. So again, I'm going to show you an example again of how to import a citation into my group. So just so you're aware, we were showing you before, we're showing you a couple of different databases just because, as Joanna mentioned, every database sort of has a different way to export citations. We showed you the ProQuest one in particular because it's kind of hidden. In EBSCO databases like in Discover or in EBSCO collections like CINAHL, that kind of thing, the export option is easier to find. So in this case, This is an example from Discover. So I want to import the citation into my group library. So the first thing I will do there is click on Export. Then again, you can see, you'll get used to hearing RIS because again, that's how you import things in Zotero and Mendeley. You use their RIS format. Again, this is what Zotero uses, what Mendeley uses. So again, make sure that is selected and then click Save. And again, we're going to be going through a lot of the same kind of steps because you will see a pop-up appear. Do you want to import this? I will click OK. And then in this instance, because we're saving it to a particular library, a pop-up window will appear in the top right corner of your screen. So in this case, I want to import directly to my group library because I have a personal library and I have a group library. So in this case, I click on More. And this gives me the option to select that library to import the citation into. So it's a little bit of an extra step, but it saves you, I guess, time later on, moving things around. So this will take it citation directly to that library in your group. So highlight that and then click Done. And then as you can see, your article citation is imported into your group library. And you can just see here it says Library Research for Digital Literacy under Groups. So it's not in my library, it's in the group library. And again, to be very clear here, what is being imported into your Zotero account is not the article itself, but the article's citation information only. And just this is the web app, this is the web library version. So it's being imported, only the citation is imported. So if you go into your group library and click on the title of the article, you can see, it'll open up and you can see more details about that article. And again, the full text has not been imported, but what you can do is next to URL, you will see a link you can use to get back to the article in the database in which you found it. And this is a permalink, so it will take you back to that citation in the database. So don't worry about proxy information and things like that. Again, you can attach PDFs of articles to your items in your Zotero library by saving the PDF to your computer or device and then creating a link to them in the citation in Zotero. So again, save the PDF to a special folder, ideally to a special folder you set up for the purpose. In this case, it's called Jen's Zotero documents, so it's easy to find. You can save to your desktop if you choose. This is probably the most organized way to do it, just having all your Zotero documents in one place. And that also provides a backup as well. So if something happens to your Zotero library or if the website's down, your internet crashes, you can go back to these documents in your folder. But anyway, yes, so you want to download the article and save it to somewhere you can easily find it. And then once you've saved the PDF, again, you can go to your Zotero web library and click on the article citation that you want to attach the file to, and then select Attachment and Add File. So again, in the pop-up window that will appear, you want to navigate back to that article and then drag and drop it into the box and click Upload or Open. So you can there's a couple ways you can do it. You can drag and drop it over into here, or you can just click on Open, and that will attach your PDF to the citation. And you can see it's now linked. So now in my library, when I click on this, I will see the PDF attached here. You can also share citations that are already in your personal library. So I'm flipping back and forth between the web library and the desktop one. This is my desktop library again, and I want to, and you see they sync up here, so you can see my library research folder here. I have this article in my citations already, in my library already, so I can very easily move it over to my shared profile, to my shared group account. So it's pretty easy. You just drag and drop the article into your group library. So you highlight it and drag it over, and it will show up in this folder as well. Okay, so now that we've covered using Zotero for collaboration and sharing, we're going to look at using Zotero as part of your online professional profile. So to do this, you will need to include more information in your personal Zotero profile. To edit your profile, again, back on the Zotero homepage, you can click on My Profile on the Zotero page after you've logged into your account. And this is optional. You don't have to have a profile. You can just have a library. That's totally fine. But if you want to use this, you can. So we're just demonstrating it for you here. So my profile, and then select Edit Profile. Again, this is all pretty straightforward, right? On your profile page, then you can provide as little or as much detail as you want, as you feel comfortable with, though you will be asked to provide your real name. So you can't use a pseudonym like you might in Twitter or Facebook or whatever. I don't think Facebook even allows that, so you use your real name. Okay, and you can also, if you choose, add your location. And you can add your areas of research interest or your discipline and your university affiliation if you choose to do so. If you want to, you can also write a little bit about yourself and add a profile picture. And then once that's all done, you can click on, oh, sorry, I moved ahead too fast. Click on Save Profile. And of course, this is all editable later on. If you choose to do so, you can also upload your CV to your professional profile. And then select the privacy settings you prefer. So you may or may not want it available to be found in search engines, depending on what you're doing, what kind of research you're doing. You can hide it from search engines. So I've chosen to do this just because I'm using this as a teaching tool, this Zotero account mostly. I use it for some other private research too, but I just decided to hide it. But you can do whatever you like. Okay, and you can also select the kind of email notifications you would like to receive. If you don't want to receive any, you can just uncheck. Okay, and then also your Zotero account does have a folder marked My Publications. So what this is for your personal publications. So you can import citations for the work you might have published, and you can drag and drop these items into the My Publications document. So I have a couple here that I've decided to include just as a demonstration. So you drag and drop these things into that document there. Again, you should only share publications that you yourself have written or co-written, because when you move your publication citations to My Publications in Zotero, you will be asked to confirm that you in fact created the work. And then once you've done that, you can click on Add to My Publications. Oh, and I see a question here. Do you have to have an account to link the Chrome extension to the Windows desktop version? Yes. So basically, my understanding is as soon as you create an account, even using Chrome, so we're showing Firefox, Chrome is very similar. Yeah, I'm reading the question again. Chrome extension. Yes. So well, you have to have an account anyway. So if you want to use Zotero, you do have to create an account anyways. And then you will have to install the extension to sync your web and your desktop library together. I hope that answers your question. Excuse me. Okay, so once you do this, as soon as you log into your Zotero web account, you will see that these publications have been automatically added to your profile. So you can see those all there. Now that you have a group set up and a profile, you can start to build your Zotero network. Again, this is entirely optional. It's just a fun thing you can do to collaborate and to see what other research is being done elsewhere by people who are using Zotero. So under People, that People tab there, you can see who you're following and who your followers are. So I have none. I'm not following anybody. That's okay. This is totally optional, as they say. You can also see profiles of other people in your discipline, and you can search for other Zotero users you may like to follow. So if there's somebody you know, or maybe there's like a famous researcher or somebody you're interested in, you can search for them by name, and you can search for your colleagues or people you want to create a group with too. You can search for them there under People. Click on Search People after you type in their name. You can also search by discipline or keyword. So in this case, I've searched for libraries. So I'm seeing a whole bunch of librarians who also happen to use Zotero. And you can just see other people who are in the same field as you. If you want to follow somebody, open their profile and click Follow on the right. Depending on what they choose to share, you can perhaps view their CV, or you can send them messages. What might be most useful is you can see their library, you can see their bibliographies. So in this case, this individual has a really good bibliography for inclusive public history. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let's see what's in there. So you can take a look and just see what citations and articles she's found interesting. All right, so for even more information on using Zotero, you can check out their support pages under documentation. So that's covering the basics of using Zotero and using it to create folders and groups and profiles and things like that. So we are going to move on to Mendeley, but before we do that, we're going to take a 5-minute break just because it's a bit of a longer session. It runs till 11:30, so we'll take a 5-minute break. I'll set a timer right now. So we'll come back at 10:47. If you have any questions, please type those in the chat box and we'll answer them for you. But if you need to take a washroom break, that's fine too. Hi all. So we'll get started in 2 minutes, just as a quick warning.
And I guess we got no questions for the breaks, but I'm glad those of you who got to attend the first part got to see everything about Zotero, and then we'll get on to Mendeley.
Sounds good. We have, according to my timer, 50 seconds. So if you're away from your computer, we'll get started in 42 seconds.
And in the meantime, I pulled up the Mendeley poll that you can fill out. Okay, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'll keep the poll up. Okay, and just seeing if anyone else is going to answer, and then we'll continue on. Okay, so we have a couple users of Mendeley, a couple unsures, and several no's. It does seem like this group is Zotero has been more popular with, which is interesting because in the past it seems like they were quite equal. So. All right, so I will continue on. So like Zotero, Mendeley is a free citation management software that you can use to collect and organize citations and to create bibliographies. Mendeley also has a PDF viewer in which you can highlight and annotate articles. You can use it to insert in-text citations into your documents and to collaborate with colleagues. You have to download and install Mendeley on your computer or device. You can do this at mendeley.com, and you can download it to Mac, Windows, Linux, and Android. For this demonstration, I'll be using Mendeley for Windows. And Jen has posted the link in the chat box. So once Mendeley is installed, you'll have to create a user account once again. You must log into this account each time you want to access Mendeley. Your Mendeley account includes a desktop app as well as a web account, which you can sync to the web. This is a screen capture of the login for the desktop app, but the web app looks very similar. The first time you log in, you'll be asked if you want to participate from your selected discipline to your library. If you want to add papers from your selected discipline to your library. And you can skip this step if you choose. The first thing you might notice about Mendeley is that it looks very similar to Zotero. The layout is essentially the same with collections and functions on the left pane, a list of saved citations in the center, and item information on the right-hand side pane. Unlike Zotero, Mendeley is a desktop app and is not automatically linked to your web browser. You can log into your Mendeley account to access it online, and here's what the online version looks like. Again, the first thing you should do is create separate folders or collections for each assignment that you're gathering resources for. On the left pane, simply click on Create Folder and type in the name you want to give it. Now you can begin to import references. You can also click on the icon of the folder with a green plus sign on it in the desktop app on the top left to create a new folder. In your web library, simply click New Collection to create a new one. For this presentation, we're going to focus on the desktop app version. Clicking on the folder icon with the red minus sign will delete the highlighted folder. Here's how to import a journal article citation into Mendeley. This example is from the database Academic Search Complete. Once you found an article that you want to import from a database, click on the title and go to the full record. Click on the Export button. This will be located in different places depending on the database, but most journal databases will have an export function. Select the appropriate format. In this case, it's RIS. This is usually the format for Mendeley if Mendeley is not listed by name. Click Save. You have to be careful when doing RIS format exports if you have both Mendeley and Zotero on your computer. The database will try to export to Zotero instead of Mendeley, as Zotero is a browser extension. To export to Mendeley, first disable Zotero if it's also on your computer or device. We'll show you how to do this later on. A pop-up window will appear prompting you to open the file with an application. Click Browse and select the Mendeley desktop app from your options. Click OK and the citation will be imported into your Mendeley account. The citation will be saved to the All Documents list. Find the citation and drag and drop it into the appropriate folder. In this case, Podcast Research. Like Zotero, Mendeley only saves the citation into your library, not the full-text PDF. But again, you can download a PDF of the article and attach it to the citation in Mendeley. Save the PDF to your computer or device in a place where you can easily find it. In Mendeley Desktop, click on the down arrow next to Add in the top left corner. Then select Add Files from the drop-down menu. Find the appropriate PDF and click Open. It will automatically be attached to the correct citation. Be aware that your Mendeley web account only has 2 GB of free storage space, so you may want to save PDFs to your computer or device only. As with Zotero, you can upgrade to a paid subscription, the account to increase your storage space, which may or may not be something you would like to do. When you double-click on the citation, the PDF will open in Mendeley. Now, Mendeley's PDF Viewer is a super useful tool. You can all use it to highlight important passages and to add notes. You can sync your article highlights and notes to your web account and open the PDF Viewer on your web account as well. You can also import citations for books and ebooks from AU's library catalog. If you do a Discover search on the library homepage for the item you want to cite, open the full record by clicking on the item's title. Click Export, select the appropriate format, which is RIS of course, and click Save, then OK in the pop-up window that will appear. Again, like when you import an article citation, a pop-up window will appear prompting you to open the file with an application. Click Browse and select Mendeley Desktop from your options. Click OK and the citation for the book will be imported into your Mendeley account. In order to import web citations, you have to install the Web Importer Browser extension. To do so, go to Tools on the top left of your Mendeley desktop screen and click Install the Web Importer. This will open up a browser window at mendeley.com. Depending on your browser, you have a number of ways to install the Web Importer. I'm using Firefox, so I'll download it. Click on Get Web Importer for Firefox. In the window that opens, click Add to Firefox. You will be asked to allow Mendeley to be added to your web browser. Then you will be notified that Mendeley has been added. The Mendeley icon will now appear in your browser toolbar. It's much easier to pick out than the Zotero one, which really should be a Z, but is just a piece of paper instead. I always find that confusing. So once installed, you can now save citation information for websites. Once you're on a web page you'd like to import, click on the icon in your toolbar. A pop-up box will appear in the right corner of the screen. You can select the Mendeley folder you would like to import the citation into. Click on Add, and the reference will be imported to your Mendeley library. But Mendeley has a hard time pulling metadata for websites into your library. So You may have to look at the information Mendeley has pulled and manually add such information as the author, publication year, etc. You can do this by clicking on the entry in your library and then editing the details in the right-hand pane. Unlike in Zotero, in Mendeley, you can also save citation information for books from, like in Zotero, you can also save information from Amazon.com for books. You can import the information by clicking on the Browser button, selecting the correct edition, click on the details to find the right one, and click Add. You also want to make sure you're pulling the information for the book itself and not the Amazon webpage. It's very easy to sync your web and desktop Mendeley libraries. In your desktop library, simply click on the green Sync button on the bottom left, on the top left. These new citations will now appear in both libraries. If you're logged into both your web and desktop libraries, syncing usually occurs automatically. You can do a number of things with your imported references. Click on one of the items and you can see the item details come up in the right side pane. You can add or edit the details if necessary, just like in Zotero. To return to the article or website, click the arrow next to the URL or copy and paste the URL into your address bar. To remove an item from a folder or to delete an item, hover over it with your mouse and right-click. Select Remove from Folder or Delete Document. The deleted item will be moved to your trash folder, which you can empty by right-clicking on it and selecting Empty Trash. Mendeley also has a search feature, which you can use to find similar articles to the ones in your account. Click on an article, then click the Related Documents button on the top left, or right-click on an article to select the related documents. It's kind of a cool feature. This will sometimes bring up related articles from the web, but not always. Be aware that articles in Mendeley will suggest to you are not necessarily from AU Library. You can do a journal title search on the library homepage to see if AU Library has electronic access to these articles. If we have them, you can get them for free, or you can order them via interlibrary loan if we don't have access. So just contact us if you're having trouble finding one from a citation that Mendeley recommends, and we can help you figure out how to access it. Keep in mind that a related document search in Mendeley can be useful, but is not a replacement for database research. In order to create a bibliography with Mendeley, you have to install the Citation plugin once again. Click on Tools and install MS Word plugin, or the plugin for whichever word processor you're using. You can find more information on Mendeley's documentation page or can email Jen or myself for more information. For more information on the plugin, go to mendeley.com and click on the Help Guides under Support at the bottom of the page. Once the plugin is installed, it's very easy to insert in-text citations into your paper. First, go to the Mendeley desktop and click View, highlight citation style, and choose from the list the style that you would like to use, or click More Styles for more options. I'll use APA again. Then open your word processing software. In this case, I'll demonstrate using Microsoft Word. To insert an in-text citation, put the cursor where you would like to place your citation. Under References, click Insert Citation, then go to Mendeley. Highlight the document you want to cite and click Cite in the toolbar. The in-text citation will appear in your paper. Always be sure to proofread, correct any errors, and add page numbers if necessary, as we did last time. It's also very easy to create a bibliography or a reference list. Click on References, this is on the top of your Word document, and then click Insert Bibliography, then Insert Citation. Click Go to Mendeley in the pop-up window. In Mendeley, go back to your folder, use the Control button on your keyboard to select all of the ones that you would like to include in your bibliography. Then click Cite on the Mendeley desktop toolbar. Use the Shift key to select all items in the folder if you need to. You may have a few in the folder that you end up not citing, so it's good to have the option. You can insert a bibliography at the end. Sorry, I think this will automatically create your reference list, as you can see here. You can also insert a bibliography at the end of any document, so long as you have the plugin installed. As with all citation management software, however, always be sure to carefully proofread reference lists. I know we can't say this enough, created using Mendeley. As you can see, this reference list looks pretty good, but there are some errors that need to be fixed. For example, the capitalization here is incorrect and needs to be fixed. And in APA style, you do not need to include retrieved from in a journal article citation. As with Zotero, you can edit the document information in Mendeley so that it will be correct when you create your bibliography. Here I've gone into the article title to correct the capitalization, and now it will be correct each time I create a bibliography. Remember, any bibliography created with Mendeley should be checked carefully before your paper is submitted. Always proofread bibliographies before you hand in your assignment. It's not a great place to be docked marks. I just want to add a bit here about APA 7th edition. This APA update was only added to Mendeley very recently. So to use APA 7, click on More Styles. Under the Get More Styles tab, do a search for APA 7 and click Use this style. You can do this with annotated bibliographies too, which you can see below there. It will now be added to your list of styles in your drop-down menu. This will be useful even if you're just doing other rare citation styles or less common than the ones that are first listed. And now Jen's going to discuss collaboration in Mendeley.
Thanks, Joanna. And this is where our new presentation today really diverges from our previous presentation. And unfortunately, I will have relatively little to say. We just found out about a week ago that Mendeley is actually canceling some of its collaboration features. So I'll provide more details in a moment. But first, we're going to look at creating shared libraries, because you can still do that. Again, very similar to Mendeley, or Zotero rather. So to create a shared library in Mendeley, you first need to create a group in which to do this. So again, this is demonstrating using the web version, not the desktop app version, right? So I'm in my web version of Mendeley. Again, it's much easier to collaborate using the web library than it is your desktop library. So in your Mendeley web library, click on the Groups tab at the top, and then click on Create New Group. Again, give your group a name that describes its purpose. In this case, it's EdD course assignment, and you can add a little description there too. You also can, if you choose, select your area of interest or study from the drop-down menu below. As you will see, Mendeley is a bit more structured towards use by those in the sciences than is Zotero. You see, you have a lot of different sciences categories here, not very many for the humanities. Next, you want to select the level of privacy that you want your group to have. Although please note, so Mendeley is removing a lot of their features, and one of the things they're removing is public and invite-only public groups. So those are no longer options anymore, or they will no longer be options as of December. So in this case, those options will no longer be available. So your kind of only option is a private group at this point. So you want to click on Private and then select Create. And again, you can click on Settings, and then click on Create rather. And then you can click on Settings to alter your email notifications. So you can, if you don't want any email notifications, you want to unclick those boxes. Or if you want notifications, that's fine too. So once your group has been set up, you can start inviting members. And this is going to be visible under your Groups tab in Mendeley. And so once that's available, I skipped a slide there, sorry. Once you set up your group, then you can start inviting members. So I'll just go back real quick. So we've selected our notification settings. We've gone on to look at our group to see where it's available. And then in the group, then you can click on invite members to invite people to it. So you want to enter the email address of the people you would like to invite to join the group, and then click invite. In this case, Zotero offers you the option of their Zotero name or their email. With Mendeley, you put in their email address. And then you can see under Manage All Invitations, you can see in the members list who you've invited to the group and when. And again, if you like, you can cancel or resend the invitation. Once your invitees have accepted the invitation, they will be added to the list of current members. From here, you can also manage your group member's status, or remove them from the group by clicking on Edit. So if you have them as an admin, that's fine too. It's usually the best way you want to go. If you're collaborating with somebody, have them as an admin as well. You can also send messages to one or more group members. So messaging within Mendeley is quite different than it is in Zotero. In Mendeley, it tends to look a bit more like Twitter, as you'll see. If you click on Overview, here on the top right, you will see a messaging space in the middle of the page. So in this case, you want to type the @ symbol to populate the list of names there. Again, very like Twitter. You type in the @ symbol and the name will pop up, and then select the name of the person you want to communicate with, and then write your message. And then you can click Post to send. So it comes up as like a feed, kind of like a forum post or a Twitter post. So group members can now like the message, or they can comment on it as well. And they can continue the conversation that way. So I'll now show you how to share citations and documents in your group library. So again, when you found an item you'd like to share, click on the export function in the database. And this is why we're showing you a bunch of different ones. As I mentioned before, the ProQuest databases, so we've been showing like Discover and Academic Search Complete, those are EBSCO products. They have that obvious export feature. In ProQuest, as we showed before, it's hidden. It's under all options. So that's why we're demonstrating this one quite a bit. So click on all options in this case. And of course, again, click RIS, as we should all know by now. So click that, RIS output, and then click continue. And and then you want to, it'll give you the output options. You want to select RIS and then click continue. So from here, you want to choose to open the file again in Mendeley Desktop in that pop-up window. And you do have to import the item into your desktop folder, not your online library. And from there, you can share it to your online group. So it's a bit of an extra step, unlike Zotero, where you can put it directly in there. You have to save it to your desktop first, and then move it to that folder that is your group folder. So just be aware of that. It's a little bit of an extra step there. So as I've done here, I've saved it to my Mendeley Desktop app. And in my Mendeley Desktop app, I've then dragged and dropped the citation into my EdD course assignment group. So again, this is the desktop version, and this will add this to the group, and this will then sync up with my web app. So again, in your desktop Mendeley app, click on sync. So it's a couple of steps, like I say, just to reiterate, you're going from your desktop version and you're dragging and dropping it into that folder that you're sharing, and then you're clicking on sync, and that will sync it up to your desktop version, or sorry, to your web browser version. So here you can see now that the citation is appearing in my group library in my online Mendeley account. Again, to attach an article to the citation, it's the same thing again. You have to download the PDF and save it to your computer or your device, ideally in a specific folder, somewhere where you'll find it easily. And then once you do that, once you're in Mendeley, again, this is the web version, you can click on the library and the name of your group's library to view your documents. So click on Distance Ed course. And then from here, you can see my citation has been imported. And here, then, I can drag and drop this. So if you click on the title of the article that you'd like to import as a PDF, you can see there at the bottom of the panel on the right, you'll see a place where you can drag and drop the PDF. So again, this is my web library. This is my shared group. Clicking on the citation information and then dragging and dropping or uploading the PDF to it. And once you do that, you will see that the PDF has now been attached to the citation. Again, you can also add PDFs directly to your documents folder. Actually, this is a little bit easier too. So once you're in your Mendeley web library, you can click on Documents and then Add next to the plus sign. And there, so just what the difference is here you're importing the citation first, then attaching the PDF. With this example, you're attaching the PDF first and then linking the citation to it. So you're doing the opposite. So in my web library, I clicked on Add. And then what I've done is I've dragged and dropped my saved PDF into that space there. And I've uploaded it. So when you drag and drop an article into the group, you click on Done in the pop-up window. Now, the complication here is you have the PDF, but not the citation information. So what you have to do, this is again kind of backwards, you have the PDF first. You will need to go back to the database that you found the article in, or whichever database it happens to be in, the citation. And then from there, you can add it. So in this case, I took the citation information from the article in a ProQuest database, and I'll import it in the same way. So I have the article already, but now I'm going for the citation. So I've gone back to ProQuest Education, and I've done that all options step, RIS, etc. And I'm going back to get the citation information. Now, the citation information has been saved again to my desktop app. This is where it gets a bit confusing because we're flipping around a bit between desktop and web browser. But in this case, the citation information for my PDF has been saved to my desktop app. And again, I have to drag and drop this into my shared account. And this will sync up with my web library. So now you can see that both the article and the PDF, or sorry, the article citation information and the PDF are both listed in my library, in my folder, but they're separate. So what you need to do now is you attach the citation information to the PDF. And the way you do this is by pressing the Control button, so CTRL, click on Control button, and highlight both the citation and the PDF in your list. So when you highlight both items, you will see on the right-hand panel this Merge Documents function. So click on Merge Documents, and then it'll ask you to confirm. And then you can do that. So Merge Documents. And then here you'll see Confirm Merge. And you'll see now that the article and the citation have now been merged. So it's another way to do it. People, when they're doing research online, it can be easier to really quickly drag and drop PDFs into your group folder, but do be aware the citation is not included. So it's easier in some ways, but actually involves far more steps to get the citation and the PDF to be linked up. So either way you choose to do it is up to you, but you tend to have fewer steps. It's a bit easier, again, like I said, with the PDF, you just drop it in there. But if you want the citation info, you need to do that separately. So just a little rundown on how that works. Okay, so of course, when you go ahead and sync your desktop and your web app, you will see that now the article, PDF, and the citation are in your shared account. So now moving on briefly to Mendeley profiles. So we actually had to cut this part out because Mendeley does not offer these anymore. So, well, they do, but they're ending it. So as I said before, Mendeley has recently announced that this option will no longer be available to users. It's also removing the search people function. So we won't go into details about that either. So our previous presentation, we went into, like we did with Zotero, we showed you how to set up a profile, we showed you how to search for people, we showed you how to follow them. In this case, we're just skipping that because it's not going to be available next month. So what this means is you have a library with your account associated with it, but you can also set up a separate profile. In this case, profiles will no longer be available, but you can still have your library and your Mendeley account, so you can still share items with other people who have Mendeley accounts, but you can't create profiles. This used to be bigger in Mendeley. So Mendeley used to have really detailed profiles of researchers, instructors, experts, and now they're just getting rid of that. I don't really know why, but all this to say, they're just not offering it anymore. So we're going to skip this part. So I don't have much to say about that. Okay, if you are currently a Mendeley user, I think some of you might be, but I don't know if you have profiles. If you are, you can, if you decide to, you can check out their information on this topic. So they posted this just recently on the 12th. So as it says, as of December 2020, they're getting rid of a lot of these profile features. So I actually will share a link to that too, in case you're curious. Sorry. So it's a link to Mendeley support. Okay, so that's kind of it for Mendeley. A little bit shorter than Zotero because they've gotten rid of some of their extra features. But I do want to show you an extra bit for people who want to use both Zotero and Mendeley, because you can use both, right? They're free. As we said, extra storage costs a bit more, but they are free web applications. You can use both if you want to. But as we said, they will kind of conflict. Did a cough there. So here's how to disable Zotero, because Zotero will kind of take over for Mendeley if you have both installed. So if you're in Firefox, on the top left of your browser menu under Tools, you can see Add-ons. So click on Tools, then Add-ons. On the left side of the screen there, you will see an Extensions option. So next to Zotero in the list, select Disable. So Zotero will be disabled, and you can export directly to Mendeley if you choose to use Mendeley for a given project. You can enable Zotero again by just following the same steps and clicking Enable. So again, I'll just go through that really quickly. Zotero tends to override Mendeley, so go to Tools, Add-ons, disable Zotero, and then enable it later on if you want to use Zotero instead. Okay, so that's going to bring us to the end of our presentation. So one of the advantages of using Zotero or Mendeley is that they are web-based softwares that are not tied to your status as an AU student or staff member. Some of you mentioned RefWorks. We don't offer RefWorks anymore, but these are good options for you because, again, you can use and keep your Zotero or Mendeley account whether or not you're affiliated with a university. RefWorks, you had to have a university-affiliated account, and you'd lose access potentially after you graduate. So in this case, you can use Zotero and Mendeley basically forever as long as they're running, right? You can also use these tools cross-institutionally. So that means you can collaborate with your colleagues or fellow students using these tools no matter what institution, if any, they're affiliated with. And I do see a question from Sharon about Elsevier. I will leave that to the end of the presentation when we can deal with that in more detail because we're just coming to the end here, wrapping this up. So one question we always get is, which is better, Zotero or Mendeley? And the answer is really, it's up to you. It really depends on your personal preference. So do play around with both and decide which one you like better. And again, as I said, you can even use both. York University Libraries has a handy chart to set the differences between Zotero and Mendeley side by side. Although I did notice they don't include yet the information about Mendeley canceling their profiles. So it's a little bit out of date. They'll probably update it soon, but it's very useful in terms of the basic things that they use. So you can find this online at the link, and Joanna has pasted that link to the chart in the chat box. You can also search for York Zotero Mendeley in Google and you'll find it. And finally, we want to let you know that the library is here to help. So we do offer webinars and tutorials on how to use the library, and our librarians and staff are here to offer research assistance and help accessing our resources. So I'm just going to briefly go to the homepage as we wrap up. So here again, under Get Help on the library homepage, you can find many of our tutorials on all aspects of the research process, from searching, citing and writing to tech support. We do have a bunch of new tutorials that we're pretty excited about, and this is where you can see those. And of course, this is also where you'll find our new citation management tools guide that I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. So you can find under Get Help, you can find our citation management tools LibGuide. It's brand new, published yesterday. Under Contact Us is how you can get in touch with our staff. So here, if you click on Contact Us, you will find our phone numbers and our email address, as well as information about our business hours. So business hours are 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday to Friday, excluding holidays. You can email us anytime or leave a voicemail 24/7, and we'll get in touch as soon as possible. So currently, and for the last several months of the pandemic, we've been working from home. So we aren't able to take direct phone calls at the moment. This is hopefully going to change soon, but right now we can't. So we're checking voicemails and responding via email. So do be aware of that. It's better to get in touch with us through email or through chat, because we do offer live chat services 3 days a week currently from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time, Tuesday to Thursday. Again, sometimes chat will be closed during stat holidays or if we're understaffed. So during chat hours, when we're opening, you can click on the Ask Us Chat tab on the right of the screen to open up the chat widget. We do also offer informal drop-in sessions, Tuesday mornings at 9 and Thursday afternoons at 3 p.m., again, Mountain Time. And these are informal Teams sessions where you can just drop in and get some support or ask questions. So it's a way to chat with a librarian one-on-one through Teams. And you can find more information by clicking on the More Info link. And this is a picture of our library homepage banner. You're probably aware of that, but for more information about these sessions, click on More Info. And also, during this difficult time, as it is for all of us, Joanna has created a pandemic support guide, and it has activities for children and adults. It has mental health resources, tips for working from home, teaching from home, and resources that are now available due to the COVID pandemic. So this is a valuable resource for you to look at too, and you can even share some of your COVID-19 memories. Okay, so we also want to draw your attention to our library webinars page, also very important. This is where you can see our webinar schedule and where you will find our recordings of our previous live webinars. So we're going to post a recording of this session here later in the week. You can see we have our older version, out of date now with Mendeley changes, but we have our reference migration and our citation management tools one. We're going to probably take this one down, but again, you can see the webinars on that page. And I actually want to point out really quickly, I did not include a screenshot, but we do have our AU Library Facebook and Twitter pages. I think Joanna can post the links to those in the chat box as well. So if you want to keep up with what the library is doing, our holiday closure times, fun kind of things we share, information about more webinars, you can find that information on Facebook and Twitter. So give us a like and give us a follow there. Okay, and so thank you all for participating today. We were almost at the hour-and-a-half mark, but if you have any questions at all, please type those in the chat box. And we have some poll questions for you as well, so we'll just get those going. So while we're waiting for your questions, we'll just post these. So we have a bit of a quiz. So how would you define a citation management software? What does it mean to you? What is one? We're kind of seeing, it's a pretty basic question, but we're kind of seeing what you know. And then here too, how will you use Zotero or Mendeley in the future? If you're not going to use them, that's okay too. They're not for everybody. Some people have their own ways of tracking their research. And then we have a final question. These are all voluntary. Do you have suggestions for us? So should I make the webinar shorter? Should we talk more slowly? What should we do? So any suggestions you have at all, ideas for future webinars, very helpful too. And again, as Joanna says, thank you very much for attending. She's posted the links to Twitter and Facebook in the chat page. And we did have a question from a guest about Mendeley. Yeah, so the Mendeley thing too, there's an Elsevier. So Sharon, do you already have a Mendeley account, or are you trying to set one up?
Yeah, I was a bit confused about where you were with, like, were you in an Elsevier database and weren't able to export, or yeah, I was kind of confused about where that was specifically coming from.
Yeah, because I have an account already, so you will tend to find that the login page for the web library, it will go through Elsevier. Elsevier is the publisher that is responsible for building and maintaining Mendeley. So if you don't have a Mendeley account already, that could be why you're running into an error. If you have to set up an account, that might be what you need to do.
Oh, thanks for catching that, Jen. I totally forgot that Elsevier owns Mendeley.
Find that's the case. Different companies own it. So like ProQuest owns RefWorks now. things like that. You'll find these big library publishers will just buy up all these products. And I'm wondering with Mendeley now if they created it or if they bought it, because it seems weird that they're getting rid of the profile stuff. Oh, I'm going to stop recording as well. So if anybody's shy about asking questions on camera, we'll just end the